Good morning and welcome to PFY Live in
Hunting edition.
the hunting edition. We're here for you, dedicated. So we are here to bring you inspiration, encouragement, and some maybe new ways of doing ministry or doing encouragement to do ministry to young people in our church. And yes, we're going to talk about the spiritual life of a hunter. But today is the Feast of St. Leo. I don't know much about him, but I do know. Do you know much about him? No. I do know he had a persuasive personality. And so when I read that, I was like, oh, that's kind of like him when it's hunting season. Or it's
Part of the prenup, honey.
That you're persuasive or that,
no, that
you get to hunt?
I get to hunt.
You get to hunt.
Stop
Nice.
shaking the table.
Nice. So this episode is for all of those spouses who are married to hunters. Any kind of hunting that you do, doesn't matter. Duck, deer, bear,
turkey,
pheasant. We're here for you. So I married into this. I did not come from a hunting family at all. I'm still learning after 13 years what it really means to be in a relationship with a hunter. It's still a mystery.
Some families do it together, like the whole family goes.
Yeah, I've joined you once or twice. I can tackle the duck hunting. It's the whole deer hunting that
she can't stay quiet that long.
And no eating, no talking.
What do you mean no eating?
I thought that's what you told me. Was that?
Oh yeah, no eating, no drinking coffee. I'm all in.
All in. But why is how did you get into the sport of hunting?
My dad was a workaholic. Like he worked for Caterpillar Tractor Factory for 48 years. Never wanted a management position, just happy-go-lucky as just a worker. And so on the weekends, that was our time to spend with Dad. Mm-hmm. So we got to go duck hunting was his. That's really all we did. Some squirrel, maybe a pheasant here or there, but duck hunting, duck and goose. And we would get up early in the morning with him and he'd make us hot chocolate and we'd go down to a sportsman's club, walk a quarter mile down railroad tracks, and then he'd carry us across the river to the blind that we would build and grass and do everything. And he hunted for 60 plus years and then finally lost permission to get in there. So he's semi-retired on hunting now.
But what a great way for you to have a relationship with your dad, though. I mean,
yeah. And it was super important to us and our family, and even our parish priest back in the day, good old Father Sherman. He gave us dispensation to miss Sunday school on the weekends that we would go hunting with Dad, because it's only 8 weekends a year.
Well, wait a minute. 8 weekends? It feels like it's a lot longer.
I know that. You crab about that. It's 60 days. 60 days. That's 2 months roughly. Four weekends a month.
Oh yeah.
4 and 4 is 8.
Yeah. I get it.
I have that homeschool.
Seems like a lot. Hey, now I'm just gonna let that go.
So anyway, Father would let us miss Sunday school class as long as we did our weekly lessons. And we had to bribe him with ducks. So nice. We had to give him ducks. He loved duck.
It's nice. And your dad still hunts to this day. And it's something that both you and your brother are big into, hunting. And I can see that it's a great way to build relationship, to be in relationship with your dad, to do something that's outdoors. Mm-hmm. And so what is it for you, though, why is it that you love the sport?
Just the peace and calm of it is what I enjoy. Looking at all of God's creation around us. I don't know. We had some pictures. I don't know if those are going to get up or not, but yeah, for me, it's just being out in nature, being out with God, you and him, nobody else around. The hustle and bustle of the modern world is gone usually, um, and you're just there. And yeah, I mean, I when I deer hunt, because you sit there quiet and don't do anything, I've got a rosary that I keep. I'm all scent free and all that kind of fun stuff because I have one of them fancy blinds to sit in. I'm either on the ground or up a tree. Um, so I've got a rosary that I keep. It's green. uh, it stays in my bin of hunting clothes, and I use that when I'm out hunting or uh, duck hunting's a little easier because you can move and wiggle and talk and drink coffee and have snacks until the ducks start coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way for me to get away from all the hustle and bustle and just really take some like alone time.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm usually with people, but
And I would agree with you. I think we live in such a world that is so busy. We're on the go. We're, running to a sports event. We're, even church. Like there's a busyness about it when you're with other people. Of course, if you're doing Eucharistic adoration, you can, and then it's nice and quiet. But most of our encounters in church are have a lot of other people around them, right? A lot of other people, music, prayers that we're saying out loud. And so I think for every one of us to find kind of our hunter moment, right? Like whether any way we can have a relationship with the Lord in those private moments, right? And that's where he speaks to us, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, he says, go to a quiet room to pray and worship. There's nothing more quiet than being out in the middle of the woods. Till fellow deer hunters will understand the 5,000 elephants that run through the woods when the squirrels wake up and gets you all excited and things moving and that. But yeah, you're just out there. Usually you're out there in the middle of nowheresville. So like you can have it out with them too sometimes. Like you got problem, like, there's been times that we've had a yelling match.
You and the Lord you're talking about? Are you and the deer? Or are you and the
no,
duck?
God. Yeah, God. We don't yell at the deer. That's why she is not allowed to come deer hunting. So yeah, I mean, it's you and them, you and him.
Would you say that's a place too where you kind of get rejuvenated, like from all of the busyness of life and that sort of like a retreat for you?
Yeah, the hustle and bustle wears you out. It's just human nature to have a place to recharge. I mean, you know me, we've talked about this before. I love people and being around people, but I need alone time. Like, get away from me. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to get lost doing something other than people.
You're like this extrovert, introvert kind of, yeah. And I think that that's an important thing to know about yourself is how do you recharge? And for those of us who are married to hunters, to respect that this is a time for them to recharge. It's a special prayer time for them. It's a time, I know you do often go with friends, not always, you go alone a lot, but I think it's a good time to build relationships, and eventually Eddie will join those men and their sons as well, hunting, and become build a relationship that way. And
I mean, it builds all kinds of things, respect, understanding what's out there and, what has God created and why is it there? There was a great book written, I haven't been able to find it it's Brother Lawrence. I can't think of the name of it right now, but he was so in awe of God's creation. One of his letters that he had written in there, that he was walking along and looked down and there was a piece of straw on the sidewalk in his path. And he just stopped and looked at that and, God put that piece of straw in my way so that I could see it and stop and, think about the Lord in those things. So, respect of nature, like take care of things. We often clean up the area if there's, garbage or things around there. Respect of the animal. We don't do crazy things.
And you always, whatever
we take, we eat or we share. I often, someone doesn't like most of the wild stuff, like deer and whatnot. So I often share it with friends or family, or I'll even cook it up when we've got guests coming over to share with them so they can have the experience of trying it. I mean, it's, gosh, it's 100% organic, free range, grass fed.
No, it is all of that, but
it's very lean. It's
gamey.
Super healthy.
It's gamey. Let's be honest. It smells and it's gamey. Like when so he says to me, "Oh, honey, I'm going hunting. I'm out killing, bringing in the meat for the family." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Eddie loves it.
I don't eat it. You're not feeding me.
Now, that was her pre-notion, and now I've been taking things and again, respecting it, taking time, doing it right, having it,
trying something new with it too, to prepare it.
Yeah, just different ways, and find what works for you. And now she's loving some of it. I do a game feed every year. I have a bunch of guys come over and help me. So I've got all this stuff, and then they all come with me. So we have the buddies over, and I cook wild game for them as they're helping me get decoys ready, or moving stuff around, or repairing, or whatever the case may be. This year, I think we had 11 different items out, and one of them was turkey legs, wild turkey leg and thigh. We cooked it and barbecued, chopped it all up, and we had sliders, little Hawaiian roll sliders. I had one, and Amy took the bowl, the whole bowl, took it and goes, "Hey, I really like that." And I went to have some, and a minute later, and it was gone. And I'm like,
that one was pretty good. But
right, what happened? And then, so then there was some left in the fridge, and I went to have, "Oh no, I took it to work. I ate it all."
That one I was like, but muskrat, I'm telling you, I couldn't
muskrat.
Wasn't it muskrat?
Oh, we had beaver burgers.
Beaver burger. I could not eat. I could not.
My brother
not even get them close to my mouth, to my nose. Nothing. They should not be eaten. Nothing about that.
It's different. It's different.
Gross. Okay, so
you had
moving off the preparation here of the hunting. I think that there's a lot of lessons.
I'm available for recipes and discussions. Leave comments. Give me your email or whatnot. We'll get back to you on that.
You'll even guide people if they want to go hunting. If you are interested in learning how to hunt, he will take you. So
we've got, if you've been to any of the Steubenville conferences, you've seen our photographers, Paula and Louise. I sent Paula some pictures this morning. You may see some here sometime. Of just how beautiful it is. And I mean, there's nothing like the sun coming up over the fall trees with a grayish background, the blue water and the colorful, nothing like it. So she might come with, just take pictures.
They are great. You send me pictures like those moments that most of us don't get to see. The sun just coming up over the horizon, and God's beauty, like that he's designed this just for us. Like, I just think that's a beautiful thing. How can we compare hunting to youth ministry? So there's kind of the 4 parts, right? So you're prepping, a lot of prepping time for hunting. And then there's the setup, right? Once you get to where you're going to hunt, there's the setup. Then there's the hunt itself, and then the cleanup, or whatever you might call the post-hunting time. Mm-hmm. So how can we prepare? How could we take each of those kind of 4 steps and think about them, of how a youth minister might be able to apply a lesson there? So in the prep.
So for the prep, I mean, you got to know what you're going for. Okay. Just like in hunting, are we going duck hunting, deer hunting, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting? Are we taking kids, not taking kids? You got to plan all that out. So then once you have a plan, this is what we're doing. Now you gather all the things you need. So for youth ministry, are we working with juniors and seniors? Are we working with 5th graders, 6th, 7th grade? Is it an outdoor project? Is it inside? Is it in the church? How do we set all that up? So that's the prep. That's
need to
getting
hire
ready.
speakers, right?
Yeah.
What's your theme?
Yep.
Yep.
This is getting the theme. So this is getting everything thought out and ready. So meeting with your young adult leaders to help you get things ready and plan. All those things kind of fall into the prep.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Before anything ever happens, this is all got to be planned out ahead.
Getting yourself prayed up is in that prep time too. We cannot do ministry, just like you can't do hunting unless you prep for it. You clean your guns, you clean your decoys, you buy new stuff. You
listen.
I mean, how many duck decoys do you need? That's a question I want to know from people. Like, how many duck decoys do you need? Okay, anyways, so you're prepping for this. You're getting everything ready. You're buying your license. You're doing everything. You got to get your clothes cleaned and ready. If it's deer hunting, they need to be washed in a specific way. I learned that real easy. Well, a hard way in our first year of marriage. I washed with Tide a scent lock,
flavored Tide, and used dryer sheets that were scented.
Oh my
gosh! I had to wash these scent-free.
We couldn't save
scent
them.
barriers.
We could not. No, we couldn't.
I washed them like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Anyways, so
I'm still waiting on the new pair.
It's all the prep. It's all the prep, people. You got to prep for it, and then you're set up. So you'll get on site for your youth ministry meeting or your youth ministry retreat.
Your setup starts way before that.
Right.
So your setup, you've got to include, the setup is really the day of, okay, here it is. The setup starts the night before. You got to get to sleep, get your group leaders together, get everybody on the same page, ready to go. Here's the plan. Now we're going to go. That's part of the setup, in my opinion.
I would say, too, the other thing to add to that is inviting, right? Inviting the youth to come, right? So those private, the meetings, cups of coffees, meeting them after church, meeting them, at school, wherever it is that you're going to meet these young people. And I think that was Randy Rouse, if you joined us for our summit last week, he spoke about that, like how to engage our young people more in your youth program. He said right now it's taking a lot of time and energy, but we have to go where the youth are. And so that's going to be part of the setup, is building a relationship and trust with you before they even step foot in your youth room or on the retreat or the conference or get on the bus with you to go anywhere. Right.
Right. That's some of the prep. Like, for me, it's duck calling or calling in the deer or turkey or whatever. It's not for everybody. Some people some are the behind the scenes folks. That's okay. Like, just come to the event and help. You don't have to be up front. You don't have to be doing and know your role and know where your kids are at. What's their role? So then you got set up. That's coming the day of. That's putting out your blind or your locations of different things that are happening. Just like any animals like snacks and things, that's oftentimes where you hunt, is where they're going to eat. So bring some snacks. Mm-hmm. They'll come.
And put out so many decoys, right? Whether duck hunting is what you do mostly. So I'm most familiar with that. I mean, the number of decoys that you put out. What are the little things you're seeding into the parish, into your youth group, about an upcoming event or about their relationship with Christ? And so that's kind of putting out those decoys, right, to bring them into relationship.
Sure, you're trying to attract them. That's what duck hunting and goose hunting. You're trying to attract the birds to come to your area. So you're making it look good. You can't. The olden days it worked because there was thousands of more birds around, but they used to throw out just chunks of wood. Well, that'll work, but not great. In a pinch, you can take a 2-liter bottle and paint it black and throw out there, black and white. And we used to hunt in a place, they took tires and cut tires in thirds and rolled them inside out and put a goose head cut out on there, and that was some filler. That's great. It works. But then you go to somebody that's got, really nice decoys, and they've got the spinning wings and the motion and the movement and all this fun stuff, all these other gadgets. I'm not too into a lot of those, but you get more birds. You draw more in with better stuff, just like with kids. If you're doing the same old thing, here's a handout, I'm going to just plain flat read it to you the whole time. That's not working in today's world. Kids are,
Mm-hmm.
it's interactive. What do you got? What's the new thing? Do you got an app that you can use for your parish to stay connected? We have Flocknote at our parish is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But keep it fun and interesting. The old time, let's just go and sit with the Bible, or let's just sit and do nothing, and I'm just going to talk to you. It doesn't work with today's youth. You got to talk with them. You got to get an interaction.
And I think too, that's the way God calls us, right?
Oh yeah,
that's the way God calls us into relationship, and that's really what you want as youth ministers. Your heart is to help them and engage them in a deeper relationship with the Lord. And the Lord, we think about our own relationship with the Lord, all the ways he has to like give me moments of encouragement, answer prayers, send me someone along my journey to encourage me and walk with me, and invite me to live life in a deeper, more meaningful way, because God wants my soul. He wants me. He loves me. He pursues me. And how can you mimic that, I guess, a little bit in your ministry? Some of these ways that, and sharing our stories with them, sharing our stories with young people about how Christ is working in our lives. And that's, I think, the part I enjoy from your hunting is like, well, what happened today, honey? Like, tell me about the experiences. Tell me, when your boat filled with water. Tell me when you got stranded on the sandbar. Tell me, all of those things. Hey. How many ducks did you?
So it's like, for another reference for folks that aren't hunters, it's like Field of Dreams. Everybody remember the Field of Dreams movie, the baseball movie? The guys came out of the corn. God was talking to the guy and said, if you build it, they will come. Mm. Same with youth ministry. If you build a solid program, they will come. And if you teach them and get them to interact with you, same as I'm a mentor to half a dozen or more folks, men and women, that are interested in hunting and want to get out and try it. Like, come along. Let's try it. Let's do this. Let's figure it out. It doesn't have to be perfect every time, but get them involved. Yeah. Reach out to the youth and say, hey, would you be interested? I mean, you've been here at this event. Would you ever thought about joining the core team or the whatever? And then work with them, teach them,
Yeah. I think that's kind of the hunt part of it, right? Is for most hunting, there's that period of you're just waiting, right? You're waiting for the ducks to come in. You're waiting to see that deer or
there's really, in my opinion, two kinds of hunters. There's the meat hunter that they just go out and they just are trying to get meat. They don't care that whatever, I'm going to get whatever comes by first, and whatever. Well, I guess there's three. Then there's the trophy hunters that I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to wait for the biggest buck, the biggest turkey, the biggest whatever. I'm going to wait for it to just be perfect and just be exact. And then you got folks like me. I go out there to see God's creation and beauty. And if I get something, man, that's one heck of a bonus. But I'm really there just to be out with God and out there to see what he created for us in the quiet. I don't need to show off to anybody. I don't, I don't post a whole lot and those kinds of things. But so you kind of think about that. That's kind of the folks in church. Are they just coming just for the show? They're there at everything, but what are they doing with that then? Trophy hunters, what are they going to do with it? Well, they're going to hang it on their wall and talk it up and everything's going to be great. So I joined the group just so that I could be talked up. Or you've got the meat hunters. I'm just going to get it. And then that's it. So you've got the folks that they're just coming to the event to check the box. And then you got people that, unless they show them and talk to them and educate them about, hey, there's way more to this than just throwing these things out here for hunting. Let's set the decoys up here, whatever, versus, hey, this is why we do it. And if you watch for ducks, if you watch them turn, or you're calling, or you're doing this, or you get in this area and know the wind and the sun and all these things, if you share that information of the whys and how and pull it all together, same with youth ministry. I can tell you about the Holy Spirit. I can tell you about why communion is, extraordinary, and, all these different things. But if I don't connect it all together, it's just a bunch of pieces. Well,
right.
What am I going to do with all these pieces? I've got them, but now how do we put it all together?
And yet to remember that God can work in all of those different types of individuals who are going to show up,
absolutely.
Right? And I think we see that at a Steubenville conference, right? We I used to say, oh, we're planting seeds. But it was the priest on our team, I think it was Father John Burns, who's going to be our guest next week, but who said that it's really about that we're watering the seeds that God already has planted in the hearts of these young people. And so anything you're doing in youth ministry, you're watering those seeds, and then
fertilizer,
sun, right?
Yeah.
And the Lord works in miraculous ways. I mean, if he can talk to a hunter in the woods, he can talk to your young people wherever they may be.
Big gardeners too. Think about it. That can be part of hunting, is setting up, food plots and different things to draw the animals in. Same kind of thing. Seeds are planted. Now what do we got to do? Well, you got to have water. You got to have fertilizer. You got to keep the pests away. It's like we have a big garden outside, like 20 by 20. And if we don't take care of it and nurture it and bring it along and give it little bits here and there, maybe it's watering because we haven't had rain in a while, or maybe it's some fertilizer, or maybe it's some bug repellent. Like, hey, if we don't keep that going, if we do, we have a beautiful bounty if that we can share with others. Mm-hmm. If we don't, then things will wither and die. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Same with youth ministry. If you feed it and keep it going, these kids will keep coming back, and they'll grow and prosper and bring more people in, and want to do things bigger and better next year. So,
and I just want to say, they need you. Young people need you today more than ever. Your work is so needed. It's so needed, and it's a blessing to the church. So in whatever trials and crosses you are enduring, to bring young people closer to Christ, know that every moment is redemptive suffering, and God will use every moment for this, for the young people. He loves them more than you do, and he wants them for his own. And so,
and it's messy. It's not always pretty. The last part we talk about is cleanup. So what is that? Well, it's processing. Processing for us the meat, collecting that stuff, and where's it at, and but then it's the cleanup of the mess, and sometimes it's real neat and easy, and everything goes great, and everybody has a good time, and thank yous all around, and it's teamwork. And I say with my son, we joke all the time, teamwork makes the dream work. So we do this stuff all the time. It ain't always perfect. Mm-hmm. For hunting, there's days that you go out and you don't get nothing. You saw a lot, you worked at it. For me, you called till you can't anymore, mm-hmm. Till you got a sore throat, you can't talk for 2 days, you're exhausted, everything else. That's okay. Yeah. We still went out and had fun. We still went out and learned something, because we talked about what can we do different next time? Mm-hmm. How do we change this? How do we make it better? And just, it can be difficult, and sometimes, and most often, it's there's no praise for you of how well you did, mm-hmm. Or it's thankless in words, but the Lord knows, and it's pennies in heaven, we say here.
Mm-hmm. And it's who we become in the process, right? Who are you becoming as a youth minister and as an individual man or woman of God? It's who the young people become in the process too. And And that's the beauty of it. It's always a process. We're always growing. We're always becoming the man or woman that God has created us to be. And
you learn.
mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? This didn't work last time. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
Don't keep going back to the same thing if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Try something new. Don't be afraid to step out. For us duck hunting, it's stepping out of the boat. Hopefully there's a bottom there in the pond. We check ahead of time, but
so many stories.
You got to step out into the deep. You got to change it up. Hey, this doesn't work here. This looks awesome. This should be perfect. The animals didn't listen. Like, what the heck? This was going to be great. They didn't listen. Kind of like youth. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be perfect. We set it all up. We took time. We prayed. We did all these.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't listen.
And I think in closing, I just want to say, I know there's a patron saint of hunters. It's Saint
Hubert.
We pray to him every night in our night prayers. And
often throughout the day for me, and while we're hunting and on the way, and there's hunter prayers and different things.
And for you too, he could be a patron saint of your work in youth ministry, a hunter of souls, right? And so remember him. If you haven't prayed to him before, you read his story, a wonderful story, and miracles that happened through Saint Hubert. And any last comments, Mr. Hunter? No, none. Oh my gosh. Okay, nothing to say.
Like my grandpa used to say, shoot straight and keep your powder dry.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know why when ducks and geese fly in a V, there's one side's always longer than the other? Do you know why? There's
I've seen that. Yeah.
Scientific reason why.
Why?
You really don't? Yeah. So when they're flying and there's this side's longer than this side over here.
Yeah,
it's because there's more birds over there.
Oh my gosh!
Another one of Grandpa's favorite ones.
His dry humor. Your Grandpa's dry humor. Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I pray for him during this month of November, which is the month of the poor souls, one of our favorite months. And we'll give you just a poor soul tip at the end of our talk today. So one thing you can do, what we started doing in our family this year, I've wanted to do it many years, but we have a black box on our. It's just a box. That's black. That's black. And
it's a secret black box.
In there, we've collected all of the memorial cards or holy cards from prayer cards from deceased relatives and friends that we've collected over the years.
Card that you pick up with a funeral. It's got their picture on it. Sometimes a verse or a thank you or something about their life or special whatever.
Yep. So we put it in a box, and every night we pick a person out of there and talk a little bit about their life. Pray for them in a particular way. If there's a prayer, we read that specific prayer for that poor soul. So maybe just a thought for you to keep alive in your family, those loved ones who have passed on, and maybe we've forgotten about. I mean, there's a couple we've pulled already this month that I'm like, oh, I forgot about them.
I don't even know who this person is.
Yeah, we don't even know who it is.
1862.
There's some old ones in there too that aren't necessarily family, just the holy cards we picked up along the way. So we
do it with your youth. If you're meeting,
that's a good
if you're meeting every Wednesday night, say, hey, who should we pray for tonight? Who in your family is gone? Grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, cousins. Maybe it's somebody from your youth group that passed. Like, remember them.
Yep.
Take time. Say a eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord prayer. Like, takes 2 seconds.
Here's a free tip for your November for your youth group. Walk to your local Catholic cemetery or the cemetery closest to your church. And as you're walking through the cemetery, bring holy water bottles along and bless the poor souls and sprinkle salt and holy water on them. They will thank you.
Go for all you youth ministers, go ask Father, say, hey, I need you to bless this 5-pound bag of salt and this 2 gallons of holy water. Can you just get that done and see what his reaction is?
Because you're going to the cemetery and these souls will be greeting you on your day of
isn't there some indulgences?
There is, but we don't have time. We're out of time. So Thank you for joining us. Share this with others if you found it helpful. Send comments. We'd love to hear from you. And join us next Wednesday when one of our favorite priests, Father John Burns from the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, will be joining us. And he's going to be talking about his brand new book called Adore. And it is a book to prepare for Advent. So just in time for Advent, get it ordered so you have it with you in hand when Father joins us next week. All right. God bless. Bye.